Carb-loading is one of those terms every runner hears before a big race. Some people picture endless pasta parties. Others think of it as a license to eat bread until you can't move. But here's the truth. Carb loading is both an art and a science. And for vegetarian runners, it comes with its own unique challenges. And as a vegetarian runner, I've experienced some of those challenges. If you've ever hit the wall in the middle of a race, just burnt out doing training, or wondered why your legs feel like cement at mile 10, you've experienced the downside of getting carb loading wrong. So today we're diving deep into the Vegetarian Runner's Guide to Carb Loading the right way. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what carb loading is, how to do it without overdoing it, and how to use plans to fuel your best race day performance. First, let's cover the myths. Let's clear those up right now. Carb loading is not just eating a mountain of junk food the night before you race. My legs always feel stronger and more energized after my cheat day, though. And that's because I've done exactly what I just told you not to do. Please don't do what I do, which eat major junk on my cheat day. That's exactly what I do. I don't want you to do that because more than likely, if you do, it'll probably leave you a little sluggish the next day. At least I feel that way. I've been eating clean all week, and then my cheat day, I just go crazy and eat a bunch of junk. But when it's time for me to run the next day, man, I feel like Popeye on spinach. I'm all energized and ready to do that 9-mile run. But I don't want you to do that. So for those of you who are new to running, and you're just new to running and you're new to running long distances or running in general, like I said, let's discuss what carb loading actually is. Carb loading is the process of increasing your body's glycogen stores. That's the stored form of carbohydrate. It's stored in your muscles and in your liver. Glycogen is basically your high octane fuel. The more of it you've got stocked up, the longer you can run before you hit that dreaded wall. Glycogen doesn't store indefinitely. Like most people max out around 400 to 600 grams in the muscles and another 100 grams in the liver. That's about it. Once it's gone, your body switches to burning fat for fuel. And while people who lose weight, they want to burn fat for fuel. And burning fat for fuel is great for that steady energy. It's terrible for speed and endurance when you're in a race. That's why carb loading is crucial. For vegetarians, the great news is that plant-based diets are naturally carb friendly. You're already eating grains, beans, fruits, veggies, and probably some bread. The challenge isn't finding carbs, it's choosing the right ones in the right amounts at the right time. So here's where most runners go wrong. It's the timing of those carbs. Carb loading isn't for every workout. If you're heading out for a 5K or a light training run, like a 5K is light for me, you don't need to overhaul your diet. Carb loading is especially for long endurance events. So think like half marathons, triathlons, ultra marathons, basically anything lasting longer than 90 minutes. Why? Because that's when glycogen depletion becomes the limiting factor. For shorter events, your regular eating habits will give you enough fuel. When should I start carb loading? Well, I'm glad you asked. For those long runs, like I do that 9-mile run, maybe a couple, 1, 2 times a week, that's when you should start carb loading for that run. The sweet spot is usually 2 to 3 days before your race. That's when you gradually taper down your training volume. Less running, more resting, while increasing your carbohydrate intake. It's not about stuffing your face in one meal, it's about consistently topping off the tank. Let's talk numbers, but in plain English. The standard recommendation for carb loading is about 7 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight per day. Did you get that? 7 to 12 grams of carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight per day in the 2 or 3 days leading up to your race. Let me break this down for you. If you weigh 150 pounds, that's roughly kind of 70 kilograms. Multiply that out, and you're looking at around anywhere between 500 to 800 grams of carbohydrates per day. Now, don't stroke out after hearing that. I know that sounds massive because it is. But remember, you're not doing your usual training volume in those final days. When muscles are resting, soaking up glycogen like sponges, it's the time to lean in and give them the fuel they'll need on race day. You're going to carb load and get this amount of carbs by stacking your meals, and I'll get to that later. So don't freak out about that number. Here's where being vegetarian gives you both a superpower and a challenge. Plants are full of carbohydrates. The rice and pasta and all that stuff that we eat, the potatoes, these are staples in most vegetarian diets. Compared to someone eating lots of animal protein, it's often easier for vegetarians to hit those carb targets than it is for someone who's a carnivore. But here's the challenge for us. Many vegetarian carb sources also come with fiber. Normally, fiber is your friend. Keeps digestion smooth, fills you up, supports gut health. They tell everybody to eat fiber. But in the days right before a race, too much fiber can be the enemy. Why? Because the last thing you want is GI distress, bloating, or mid-race bathroom emergency. And you do not want to be part of the pooper blooper during a race. Remember that. The trick is this: in the 2 days leading up to the race, focus on low fiber, easy to digest carbs, white rice over brown, regular pasta instead of whole grain, fruit juices or apple juice instead of raw apples. It feels counterintuitive if you're used to eating super clean, but trust me, your gut will thank you at mile 15. And like I said, you won't end up on the pooper blooper reel. You do not want to be there. Trust me. Now, what about protein and fat? Do they disappear during carb loading, you ask? Not at all. Protein is essentially for recovering and maintaining muscle tissue. You just don't need as much of it in those final days. A moderate intake around 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight is plenty. For vegetarians, that might look like adding some Greek yogurt, eggs, or a protein smoothie to your day. Nothing heavy, just enough to keep your muscles primed. Fat is trickier. Healthy fats like nuts, seeds, and avocados are great, but they also slow digestion, and you do not want your digestion to speed up during the race or to catch up to all that stuff you've been eating, that fiber you've been eating during your race. During carb loading, you don't want heavy, slow digesting meals. Keep fats moderate. Don't cut them out completely, but don't overdo it either. Think of it like this: carbs are the star of the show in carb loading. Protein and fat are supporting actors. Keep them around, but let carbs shine. Here's something that most runners overlook, and it's simple. It's all around us. Water. When you store glycogen, you also store water. For every gram of glycogen, your body hangs on to about 3 grams of water. That's why people sometimes feel a little heavier or puffier during carb loading. It's not fat gain, it's glycogen plus water, and that's a good thing. But it also means hydration is crucial. If you're carb loading without paying attention to fluids, you're missing the point. Think water, think electrolytes, think balance. Don't overdo it and drown yourself, but don't skimp either. On race day, the extra stored glycogen water combo is your superpower. It's what keeps your muscles firing longer, stronger, and without the dreaded, tired, fatigued muscles that just cramping up and don't want to go any longer, don't want to carry your leg to that finish line. Here's a few key strategies for vegetarian runners. Spread carbs out throughout the day. Aim for carb-rich meals and snacks every few hours. Prioritize low-fiber carbs in the final 48 hours. White pasta, white rice, pasta, white bread, potatoes, without the skin, pretzels. These keep your gut happy. Avoid new food. Race week is not the time to experiment with exotic grains or high-fiber substitutes. Stick with what your body knows. Practice in training. Don't save carb loading for race week alone. Test it out before long training runs. Your stomach needs practice just like your legs do. Now, let's talk about the landmines, the mistakes to avoid. Mistake number one: overeating calories. Carb loading is not a free fall. You're not doubling your intake. You're shifting the balance of your diet toward carbs. If you overeat, you'll just feel sluggish and bloated. Mistake number two: last minute stuffing. Eating a giant pasta dinner the night before your race won't cut it. Carb loading is a multi-day process. That big dinner is more likely to disrupt your sleep and help your glycogen stores. Mistake number three: forgetting about hydration. Like I said earlier, carbs and water go hand in hand. Skip the fluids and carb loading won't work the way it should. Mistake number four: too much fiber, too late. Those healthy fiber meals might feel virtuous, but they can spell disaster on race morning. Remember, you want to avoid being a part of the pooper blooper reel. So avoid that fiber too late before your race. Avoid these and you're way ahead of most runners at the starting line. Okay, so you carb loaded like a pro. Now what do you actually eat on race morning? Here's the key. Keep it simple, familiar, and carb focused. For me, I can't eat right before a run. If I run early in the morning, I don't eat first because it causes an upset stomach. Opposite of the pooper blooper reel. So I avoid eating before a run completely. If you can tolerate eating before a run, by all means eat. This is what I advise you to do. On that morning, eat something like a bagel with a little peanut butter or a slice of white toast with jam. Maybe a small bowl of white rice with a drizzle of honey. But the point is this, easily digestible carbs is what you need. Moderate protein, minimal fat, and nothing new. Here's something most people don't talk about. Carb loading isn't just physical, it's mental. Going into race day knowing you fueled correctly gives you confidence. You're not second guessing at mile 10, wondering if you'll run out of steam. You know your glycogen stores are full. You know your body is ready and you feel ready. And your legs are seamlessly carrying you through every mile. That is an awesome feeling. That mental edge is just as important as the physical one. When your brain trusts your fuel, your legs follow. So here's the bottom line, everybody. Carb loading the right way is about timing, quality, and balance. For vegetarian runners, the good news is that your diet already sets you up for success. You just need to tweak it in the final days before a race. Remember, start carb loading 2 to 3 days before. Aim for 7 to 12 grams of carbs per kilogram of body weight. Keep protein moderate, watch your fat, and choose low fiber carbs in the last 48 hours. Hydrate smart, avoid the common pitfalls, and practice before race day. Do that, and you'll not only avoid hitting the wall, you'll cross that finish line stronger than ever. The next time someone jokes about carb loading being just a pasta binge, you'll know better. Carb loading isn't about pasta night. It's about race day power. If this video helped you understand carb loading as a vegetarian, hit that subscribe button and stick with me here at Plant Feed the Soul. Every week, I share practical science-based to help plant-based athletes fuel smarter, train harder, and run stronger. Because running isn't just about the miles, it's about fueling your body, feeding your soul, and proving that strength and endurance absolutely come from plants, not just meat. And remember, thriving on plants isn't about guessing, it's about fueling right. If you want to go deeper, you can grab my 100-page vegetarian protein playbook. The link's in the description. And if you like a copy of the Vegetarian Runner's Carb Loading Cheat Sheet, I've added that also. The link is in the description. I'll see you in the next video.